I have the names of a number of parliamentarians in the Conservative Party of Canada.
Justin Trudeau is testifying regarding foreign interference. Welcome back to Moose on Loose. My name's David. That is our top story today. Not only is he testifying and saying a bunch of nonsense, he is saying some scathing things. He's blaming the Conservatives. He has directly pointed at the Conservatives as being the traitors in our country. He Freudian slips. He gets called out on why he didn't check his own memos for 5 years. So let's jump into this. So we've got a clip here. Listen carefully. I think Justin Trudeau has a Freudian slip. He's talking about foreign interference. He says federal interference. Just listen for it.
Demonstrate to Canadians that the integrity of their parties and the protection of their parties from federal and foreign interference was foreign interference.
I'm sorry, Trudeau. Did you say federal interference? Is that what you guys are doing? I think he Freudian slipped. Moving on here, he basically blames Pierre Poilievre for not securing the government and getting security clearance and all that. And then he says the Conservatives are the ones, the traitors on the list.
Was done. And that was always my instinct. I shouldn't be, I can know about it. I don't act on that stuff because I don't believe in the partisan using national security information for partisan purposes, nor should any prime minister. But informing the leader so they can take proper actions is, I think, the right way of doing things.
If someone is in a party, it doesn't matter what party it is, say it's not the Liberal Party, so it's Conservative, Green, Bloc, PPC, NDP, and they're doing some nefarious stuff, they're working with foreign governments, why would the Prime Minister not act on that and remove them? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Why would you have a traitor openly, actively operate in the government?
Stepping away from this specific example, because I don't want to weigh into this example.
Just for some context, the example that they had on the screen they were talking about earlier.
Intelligence details alleged foreign interference activities in Canada directed at opposition parties.
This is foreign interference trying to influence different parties.
Get down.
Example. Because I am Prime Minister and privy to all these informations, I have the names of a number of parliamentarians, former parliamentarians and/or candidates in the Conservative Party of Canada who are engaged or at high risk of, or for whom there is clear intelligence around foreign interference. And I have directed CSIS and others to try and inform the Conservative Party leader to be warned and armed to be able to make decisions that protect the integrity of that party, of its members, from attempts at activities around foreign interference.
He is doing his best to deflect from all the scandals, the SDTC investigation that is going on right now. What a schmuck. He's just pointing everything at the Conservatives. Now, if there's Conservatives in there, chuck them out. I'm sure there's a mixture of Conservatives and Liberals that have engaged in foreign interference. Chuck them all out. This guy, though, using this foreign interference inquiry as an opportunity for partisan attacks to try to cut down Pierre Poilievre's image with this is absolutely deplorable. This man is on the verge of breaking our trade deals with India at $10 billion a year because of one separatist nutcase. He blew that situation up to try to deflect. Now he's trying to deflect with this. Throw this guy in jail.
And the decision by the leader of the Conservative Party to not get those classified briefings means that nobody in his party, not him, and nobody in a position of power knows the names of these individuals and can take appropriate action.
The RCMP and CSIS can take appropriate action. That's what's supposed to happen here. They're supposed to investigate and then remove the people accordingly. He knows Poilievre will be muzzled if he gets that security clearance, and then he won't be able to talk about it. That's what he wants. He doesn't want Poilievre to be able to talk about and expose his corruption.
It also means nobody's there to stand up for those individuals if the intelligence is shoddy or incomplete or just allegations from a single source.
That's why it's so important that the RCMP investigate it and then deal with it. But until then, these people should be pulled off to the side and should not be voting on stuff in the House.
And that is something that as you've seen, we are ready to question intelligence when it comes towards the Liberal Party members, because we need to make sure if you're going to end someone's career, you're doing it in a responsible way. The decision of the leader of the Conservative Party to not receive the necessary clearance to get those names and protect the integrity of his party is bewildering to me and entirely lacks common sense, particularly when...
This is a guy who quite literally has done everything possible to hurt Canadians. The country he leads, the people he leads, he hurts us with every single action, every single stroke of his pen, every single phone call, every decision he makes our lives worse, makes life terrible in Canada.
When you look at the Cpac report that clearly lays out, the public Cpac report that clearly lays out that in both of the most recent Conservative leadership races, there was foreign interference. The fact that there seems to be absolutely no curiosity or openness in trying to figure out what happened or whether someone was compromised or whether a foreign country impacted those leadership races is simply irresponsible.
This is preposterous. Pierre Poilievre wouldn't want a traitor, wouldn't want someone dealing with another government in his caucus. It shines a bad light on him. Of course he would get to the bottom of that. Justin Trudeau is the biggest lying scumbag in this country.
The fact that we see, and I'm getting a little more partisan than I've tried to in this case, but it is so egregious to me that the leader of the official opposition, who is certainly trying very hard to become prime minister, is choosing to play partisan games with foreign interference and accusations on foreign interference. But
this is unbelievable. What he's doing with India right now, he's a audacity, the gall to say that.
Not taking it the least bit serious as regards to his own responsibilities as party leader, or even to get top officials within his party briefed up as they bring on candidates from across the country, is inexplicable and, quite frankly, concerning. So stepping back from that, our recommendation, and certainly one of the things that is alluded to in some of these reports, and certainly the Commission's work can be, is to indicate that it would probably be pretty important that, as a matter of course, party leaders, certainly of the main political parties, maybe not the Marxist-Leninist candidate that runs against me every election in Papineau, but certainly the main political parties, be given security briefings and clearances that allow them to respond to the very real threats that we have seen of foreign interference in their parties, and that top officials at the party level, as Jeremy Broadhurst was by dint of his day job in my government outside of the campaign period.
There's a weird facial expression there when he talked about Jeremy Broadhurst. He got this is a fake smile he put on, and he started to get flushed. You can kind of see it in his face.
As Jeremy Broadhurst was by dint of his day job in my government.
He's got this weird smile. He's starting to turn red. You can see his cheeks turning. This looks like a man who feels like he's snake bitten by good old Jeremy Bratwurst there, leaving him high and dry. You know, Bratwurst is like, Trudeau, you're going to lose, and he took off.
Was able to take that information and discuss with me the consequences that should be meted out, or whether action should be taken or not. It is, I think, a vulnerability to foreign interference that we have as a democracy that some party leaders have decided not to get access to some names that would be very germane for them to at least know and understand the risks around.
Okay, well, we have heard evidence through the Commission's proceedings that foreign interference affects or can affect all political parties. That's certainly true. In terms of providing information to political parties, what about there have been other ideas suggested of how classified information might be provided? For instance, if the leader is a privy councillor, would that entitle them to receiving such information?
There are privy councillors who were sworn in the 70s. As an example, Marco Mendicino was made a privy councillor when he became a minister. But now that he is no longer a minister, in order to appear before this commission and to deal with documents that he himself had generated and worked with as minister, he needed to get security cleared once again. There is a perception around.
What's interesting here is Trudeau's using Marco Mendicino, who's no longer a minister, as the example of having to re-get security clearance, trying to infer that's what Poilievre would have to do. But Poilievre is already a member of Privy Council, so this is really just political games. Brian Lilly also posted this clip. I'm watching it direct from the source, but in the comments here, you can see this guy, Kevin, says, certainly explains why Pierre is so hesitant to get security clearance to read in on the investigation. Brian Lilly commented here, he's a privy councillor. He doesn't need one. It's all political games. So Trudeau knows what he's doing here. He's just trying to cover his butt as usual. His lies, corruptions, and scandals are all piling up, and he's just using these little deflect tactics, trying to squeak out this broken government one day at a time, day by day, trying to get to October 2025. I don't think it's going to happen. Pretty scathing, though. This slippery rat, though, used this opportunity to blame the Conservatives and point. He's trying to scare Canadians, saying, oh, it's the Conservatives are traitors. It's time to name the names. Like, this is garbage. We know full well that there's Liberals on that list. It's probably mostly Liberals. Regardless, it doesn't matter who it is. Just pull them off to the side. Don't have them operating in the government. Do proper investigation. And then once they're cleared, they can go back. If they're not cleared, they go to jail. This is not rocket science. Check out this clip. So they go to a break here, and then Trudeau pulls out an earpiece. Why is he wearing an earpiece? Does he have someone feeding him lines?
This might be a good time for the break, so we'll take a 20-minute break and we'll be back at 11.
Order, please. Alors, s'il vous plaît. The sitting of the commission is now
So right here, just watch this. I'll make it full screen.
in recess until 11 a.m. Cette séance de la commission.
He just pulled out an earpiece. Why is he wearing an earpiece? Maybe there's some protocol there or something. It just seems like someone can feed him lines on how to answer these questions. Has he got his lawyer on line one? This next clip here, Justin Trudeau talks about all the tools Prime Minister has regarding foreign interference and basically admits he's a poor judge of character when putting people in their roles.
Once someone's an actual MP, a party leader cannot fire an MP. MPs were elected by Canadians. All a party leader can do is, at the largest level, remove them from their party caucus, have them sit as an independent, something that I've done many times for a range of different reasons around sexual misconduct or other things.
Listen to this guy. He's basically admitting that he's got poor judge of character. He appoints these MPs, and now he's saying he's gotten rid of a bunch of them because he can't pick out who's a good one and a bad one? Does he not vet the people he chooses? Of course not. He just picks all his buddies from his wedding party.
That's the biggest tool a party leader has. But there's also other tools. If there is an allegation around, to use the National Security and Intelligence Advisor's words herself, around inappropriate behavior or poor judgment or untrustworthiness, as a party leader, I can decide which committees an individual sits on or doesn't sit on, whether I give them a critic role or a parliamentary secretary role or even a minister's role. We have many tools to respond depending on the seriousness of the allegation. If it's that they're overly friendly with a particular consul general, maybe we just say, yeah, you know what, you need to clean that up. And then
This sounds like Justin Trudeau describing himself with the old Tom Clark there.
maybe we can revisit a committee or parliamentary secretary role for you in a couple of years, or in a year if CSIS comes back and says, no, yeah, there's been no contact there or anything like that. There's lots of tools that a party leader can exert to counter real or risks of foreign interference in their party. But it requires the leader to actually be able to receive the classified information from the intelligence agencies to then turn around and take action on that.
Okay.
Next up, Justin Trudeau admits he didn't read the information that was sent to him by CSIS. We got Commissioner Hogue here asking why no one in the PMO responded to 3 memos, one of them for 5 years. What exactly are they doing in the government?
Do you have any idea why no reply was ever given to all of those that requested the authorization?
Well, I think as was stated in the first case, it was in process when COVID happened and we all moved to different priorities and virtually. In other cases, in the third case, it actually didn't get to my office. In the second case, no, I don't know why.
This guy is such a fool.
Okay, because if an authorization is asked from your office and no authorization is needed, at least in your view, usually do you, not you personally, but your office give the information to the person requesting the authorization or not at all?
It depends on the amount of the amount of notes, the various priorities of them as they go through. I really can't speak to the challenges around that particular one, other than saying that I was always very clear that briefings to parliamentarians is a good thing.
Thank you.
Justin Trudeau is an absolute loser. The worst prime minister in Canadian history. Jumping over on X, I'm just looking at some of the people's comments here regarding Justin Trudeau saying it's the Conservatives are the traitors and Poilievre won't get security clearance and all that stuff. This is interesting here. And of course, no one can fact check this because it involves classified information. That's a great comment. It's so true. Like, he can say whatever he wants. So he can pretty much spew any accusation he wants and only a few will know he's full of crap and they can't say anything. This is such a good point. Trudeau knows that no one can fact check his garbage. This stunt over the weekend is totally calculated to rein in Poilievre because he's so far ahead and to bury the noise of internal strife in Liberal Party. It's total theater, has nothing to do with our security. Funny how Singh said the exact same thing yesterday, but their agreement is no more. Yeah, it is a load of bull crap. Wow, he's so desperate to get the spotlight off his failures, and to turn this into a partisan rant is apparent. Trudeau is such a POS. He is outright lying. If Conservatives were involved, he would have named them long time ago. Isn't it fishy that Trudeau has waited all this time to suddenly blame the Conservative Party, starting with Jagmeet? It feels like a desperate attempt to deflect attention onto Pierre. This is super fishy. Trudeau could have said this long ago. Why is he saying it now? He saved this for when he absolutely needed to get his corruptions, his scandals, his den of thieves stealing all our money off his back. Is he even illegally allowed to say this? Good question. This foreign interference inquiry is still going on, so stay tuned. The next video will probably have some more clips. We'll see. I think this is probably going to be the most scathing stuff that comes out of it. Justin Trudeau is a liar. It's one of the only things he's good at, which we've seen on full display here today. The question is now, how do the Conservatives respond to these scathing allegations that are protected by top-level security?